Big day for my special interest, everybody. The very first Halloween Horror Nights speculation map of the season just dropped. And because it's so early in the season, all we have to go off of are these weird, vague little clues given to us by people that allegedly know someone that works there. Will the community figure it out in an hour or be on the completely wrong track till October? Who knows? And that's why I love being part of this fandom. Now, they have one for Hollywood and Orlando, but most of the IPs are the same. So let's start with the ones that apply to both. The symbols that appear on both maps are a no sound button, the Chevrolet logo, a skull with fangs, and a moon and stars. Both maps also have an unknown IP, although we don't know whether the unknown IPs are the same or different ones. Let's start by looking at the thing the entire fandom has been discussing this year, and way before that, Five Nights at Freddy's. First of all, we're gonna make the assumption that FNAF is coming at all, which it probably is because the movie made so much money. And we're also gonna assume that to maximize profits, FNAF will be at both parks. So the question is, if FNAF really is coming, then which of the logos is representing it? The most obvious is the moon and stars because the name of the franchise is Five Nights at Freddy's. You also have the character named Moon from Security Breach who looks like a crescent moon. It's easy to see the logic there, but what if it's too obvious? An alternate solution could be the skull with fangs, symbolizing the iconic Bite of 87 scene. This is a huge stretch, but I could also see how the no sound button could work, since not making noise is a gameplay mechanic in both Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator and Ultimate Custom Night. And the Chevrolet, Vanessa's police car? I don't know. But I think the safest predictions for Five Nights at Freddy's are going to be the moon and stars or the skull. Now let's take a look at some community predictions. So everyone's pretty much universally, get it, agreed that the Chevrolet is Ghostbusters. I didn't know the Ecto one was a Chevrolet, but hey, I'll take it because I love that franchise. It also makes sense since Frozen Empire is coming out in March. Now, we've got the no sound button, which has some interesting discussion around it. The first conclusion that everyone immediately jumped to was A Quiet Place. It's a symbol for quiet, and a new movie in the franchise is coming out this year. This movie has had some really interesting discourse in the Horror Nights community. On one hand, there's people who have been wanting to see this movie at Horror Nights. On the other, a counter argument is made that since Halloween Horror Nights is just a naturally loud place, it defeats the entire purpose of the movie. As well, the franchise is owned by Paramount, and if you look at the other horror franchises Paramount owns, they've either never been featured at Horror Nights or have only done so once or twice a long time ago. So I'm firmly in the camp that it's not A Quiet Place. The other most popular theory for this one is one that I can get behind, and that is Silent Hill. Again, it's kind of a stupidly obvious one, but Silent Hill has been featured at Horror Nights before, and I believe has some new content in the works right now. But the thing that I think supports this the most is the popularity of The Last of Us last year. When I went, Last of Us had insane wait times that wrapped around parts of the backlot that I didn't even think guests were allowed to access. And I wasn't the only one. Apparently it had really long wait times in both parks. So my reasoning here is that since The Last of Us was so successful, Universal is probably going to want to try and follow that up with another horror video game franchise. And with FNAF, the other video game IP, they're doubling down on this business decision. So now let's talk about the last one that no one has really come to a consensus on yet, and that is the skull. This is no ordinary skull, it has big fangs, so the main things I'm seeing from people are vampire franchises. I've seen things like Dracula, Abigail, and the Lost Boys being thrown around. But I don't think we should get hung up on vampires right now, because vampires aren't the only creatures that have fangs. This very well could be representing an animal skull too. If we interpret it that way, the thing that immediately jumps out to me is a werewolf. And we are apparently supposed to get a remake of The Wolfman this year, which is a Universal property. It's a hard one, but that's what I'm gonna say for now. Now let's look at the individual ones, and we're gonna start with Hollywood first. We have an IP represented by a bloody knife. That could be literally anything.
It could be you. It could be me. It could even be... Whoa, whoa, whoa! What?
Terror Tram is there, but nothing on the theme. And we've got 2 originals, one being a flower, which again, I have no clue, and the other being what looks like a bug, maybe a maggot? Please, dear God, don't let it be exterminators again. Now let's jump to Orlando. Everything else that we haven't talked about so far for Orlando is an original. I don't really deal with the original mazes that much during early speculation season because, like I said, it could literally be anything. The big obvious one for me here is the South America map, which is more than likely going to be Monsters of Latin America. Other than that, we have a swirly lollipop, what looks to be a minotaur or a bull, and this adorable little skull logo. I love him already. A lot of people think that the bull is indeed a minotaur, meaning that a Greek mythology house will be coming. But Greek mythology is such a popular topic that I feel like it would make more sense for them to do it on both coasts. There's a few other things that the bull makes me think of. For example, the zodiac sign Taurus. You can also see a couple arrows in the background like the Sagittarius sign. And in last year, we already know that zodiac signs are a big part of Horror Nights lore. So this could somehow be related. As well, when I think of bulls, when I think of cattle, I also think of the slaughterhouse, which is also a really overdone theme in haunted attractions. And the others?
I have no idea!
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll keep you all posted on speculation updates as the season continues. Bye bye, my little hackmons.